Hello and welcome to Mind Mastery Accelerator, your destination for being a fearless entrepreneur. I am your host, attorney Sean Arnold, and I am here with your other host, Master Executive Performance Coach Vernon Webb. How are you this evening, Vernon?
I'm doing very well, Sean, and you?
I am doing quite well, thank you. And today we are dealing with an amazing topic, something that everybody needs to really home in on. We're going to talk about confidence. Now, why would we want to talk about confidence? Well,
Hmm.
when you are confident, then, the world is your oyster. But when you are not confident, we showed you that wheel of life in a previous show. And, all of those areas in that wheel of life can suffer if you lack confidence. For example, in your business, you might find that you're unable to actually build your business. You might be unable to start the business, or you might find that your business is faltering because you can't make phone calls, because you are not able to actually land appointments and get clients. And a lot of it has to do with how you feel inside. People actually pick up on your self image. And if you have a lack of self confidence, then you just might find yourself suffering in your business. The same thing might happen in your marriage. You might, through a lack of confidence, just not be speaking up inside of your relationship so that you can't tell your partner what you need. Dr. Gary Chapman wrote a book called The Five Love Languages, and I absolutely love that book. He tells us that there are five main ways that people like to give love and that they like to receive love. And if you and your partner are not on the same page with respect to how you like to give love and how you like to receive love, and if you lack the confidence to even talk about it, that could spell tragedy for your marriage. There are people who are, the black sheep in the family, or the family punching bag. You might be the little brother or the little sister, and every time you go home you just catch hell because they remember when you peed the bed. And it doesn't matter if you're a professional and you're fully credentialed, they see you as a knucklehead. And if you don't have the confidence to speak up for yourself, you will be in that position for the rest of your life. How does that feel? Confidence is a strategy. We talked about strategies in an earlier show. Confident is not what you are, it's what you do. You have a series of thought processes that lead you to think of yourself in supportive ways or think of yourself in unsupportive ways. And so, just like confidence is a strategy, so is the lack of confidence. So, the lack of confidence is what we would call a bad strategy. Let me tell you about Marcus, and then I'm going to throw it over to Vernon and have him help Marcus out. Marcus is a sales professional, and he recently lost a job because he was underperforming at the job. When he was in college, he was very, very confident. He won a few young entrepreneur awards. He's always wanted to run his own business, but he got caught up in corporate America, and he spent about 10 years working for other people, and they basically just beat the stuffing out of him and all the confidence out of him. He doesn't have the confidence to make the phone calls, to have the conversations, to give the presentations that he needs to give in order to bring the clients in the door. So, Vernon, what would Silva Mind Control say to Marcus when he's got a lot of white noise in his head. He's not able to build his business because he absolutely lacks self-confidence.
I understand Marcus personally. I used to be him. I know what it is like when you graduate from college. Now you got your first big boy job and you're nervous and the last thing you want to do is to end up getting fired because that's like a punch in the gut. Confidence is a state of mind. It's a strategy to get there, but it is a state of mind. It is what you believe to be true about you. What you want to do, Marcus, is you want to sit down and do a self-assessment. What do you have going for you? And what do you have working against you? Those are things you need to take a look at because you're going to need to make some strategic changes in the way that you think. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? First of all, you've got to see how you see Marcus. Do you like him? When you're sitting in a room by yourself, you're not listening to anybody else. Do you like Marcus? And if you don't, well, then why should anybody else? And what are you going to do to change that now that you know that? And what I would tell you is to understand that you need the discipline to sit down in a room free from distractions and take a look at what it is that you bring to the table. Why would anybody want to hire you? And if you have even struggling ideas about, well, I don't want to sit in a room by myself, you got some work to do. Because when people don't like to spend time by themselves, they don't like themselves. They can turn on the TV, turn on the radio, pull out their laptop, their phone, start scrolling, and do whatever needs to be done just so you don't think about you. What is important is that you love you. Now, how is that going to happen? That sounds kind of egocentric, doesn't it? No, because you know what? You came into this world by yourself and you're going to leave by yourself. Well, some people say, well, I've got a wife and a family and people that love me. No, 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 no. You came in by yourself and you're going to leave by yourself because when it's all said and done, you are all you got. So you want to be sure that you focus on you and what's going to work for you. Now that you've taken that self-assessment, let's come up with some goals. You want to set realistic goals. There is an acronym for quality goal setting, and it's called SMART, SMART goals, which means that they are specific. You know exactly what you want. They are measurable, how much, how long. They're achievable. You're not asking to go to the moon day after tomorrow. They're achievable. And oh, they've got to be relevant. And the last, but certainly not the least, is time bound because a goal without a time in is just a wish. So now what are you going to do? How do you want to change yourself? Discipline is going to be the key because you'll notice that I say things that well, didn't he say that? Yes, I did. Well, why is he saying it again? Because we learn through spaced repetition. You hear it one time, a little later on, you'll hear it. Didn't he say? Yes, he said it again. When you spend time by yourself and you're reprogramming your mind, can you do it just one time and that does it? No, that's not how you learn. We learn through spaced repetition. So when you hear me say the same thing over and over again, it's an important point for you to underline. Spaced repetition is critical. Now, what should you be looking at? Self-talk. Self-talk is what you say to you about you that nobody even hears. When you say, I can't do that, then your mind just says, okay, you can't. It will make sure that you can't. And it will create situations that you can't get around. There is a difference between can't and won't. Let's be clear about that. Can't and won't. Can't means I'm unable to do it. Won't means I'm not willing to do it. Let's be real clear about the difference between the two. Self-talk. Again, anytime you hear yourself saying something about you that is less than positive, it is cancel, cancel, which means you have sent a message to your subconscious mind. I don't want to accept that. I won't. And this is what I want. The silver technique that I would recommend to Marcus to begin his journey to enhancing his confidence is mirror the mind. Mirror the mind is for problem solving. Before you even quiet your mind to use the mirrors, it's like writing a computer program. What are you going to do? Well, I want to do this. I want to do, write it down. In that blue frame mirror is the existing situation, or what some people might say is the problem. We're going to turn the problem into a project. We can work on a project. Now, in that blue frame mirror is exactly where you are now. You know that you don't have the best idea and feeling and belief about who Marcus is. So that's one. The other is you have the attitude and the body language, hello, the body language of someone who lacks confidence. Shoulders asloop. You don't want to do much eye contact. You're certainly not looking up proud, not when you don't have confidence. So that's something else that you want to put in that blue frame mirror, the existing situation. Now, once you're clear about what the existing situation is, you want to send a message to your subconscious mind that you don't want it drawing your behavior from that particular picture. How are you going to change it? Easy. Smash it, erase it, blow it up. Whatever you do, whatever is inside of that blue frame mirror no longer exists. Now, let's bring in the white frame mirror, which is the end result. That is your goal. And here you want to incorporate everything that you know makes for confidence for you. What do you look like? What do you sound like? And what do you feel like? What does it look like when you're confident? What does it sound like when you have established something that is confident? You've got friends that are applauding for you, patting you on the back. You could give yourself a couple of those, by the way, because you've got this. And then, of course, what do you feel like? When's the last time that you felt that you were able to be confident about what you just did? You remember? Good. Bring that in. So you want to make this white framed mirror sensory rich with what it looks like, sounds like, and feels like to be confident. That's what I would suggest to Marcus. But now that's Silva. Let's take a look at neurolinguistic programming. Sean?
Well, NLP has a number of techniques to share with Marcus to help him fix his bad strategies. Let's be clear. When Marcus is able to fix his bad strategies, he will break the loop of those bad strategies. He keeps going and cycling through them again and again. Remember, he's basically living in the past every time he employs one of those bad strategies because it was created in the past to deal with a past hurt or trauma. And then he just keeps looping it and looping it and looping it. And so when he fixes that, he can break himself out of that pattern of negative thinking and a lack of self confidence. He can actually do a pattern interrupt to get himself out of that sensation of overwhelm. Again, it's a strategy. So he can do that. When you fix those bad strategies, you will realize that you have choices because when you're immersed in the feeling of all that negativity, you cannot see daylight. You cannot see solutions. And so I'm going to talk to you about a couple of different techniques that NLP would share with you in order to help you break out of that pattern where you just don't even see that you actually have choices. And then, of course, first of all, you can anchor resourceful states. We talked about how to anchor intense emotions in your body. So you can literally think up several incidents in your life, and they can be different incidents that make you feel strong, that make you feel powerful, that make you feel resourceful. I remember when I was studying NLP, right on my breastbone, I anchored dolphins, machetes, and ball gowns. Dolphins, machetes, and ball gowns.
Oh my.
Dolphins. The day I sat on the beach and the dolphins played with me, jumping out of the water until I just had tears running down my face and was clapping my hands like a 3-year-old child. Absolute joy. Machetes. I was a dancer back in the day, and there was a particular show when I danced with a machete, and 13 years later, somebody saw me walking down Wilshire Boulevard and recognized me. Huh? After 13 years of seeing me do a stage performance, you recognized me? Yeah, I anchored that. And ball gowns the day I walked across the stage and collected my JD. I anchored all three of those right on my breastbone. So when I need joy and I need to feel accomplished and I need to feel personally powerful, I just hit that anchor. So you can do that with confidence. Think up several times when you won the day and anchor it somewhere on your body. You know, there are another couple of techniques that I'd like to share with you. And one of them is called the three positions technique. And in the three positions technique, the first position is yourself. You think of your current position as you see it through your own eyes. You see that lack of confidence. You see what you see. You hear what you hear when you are lacking confidence. You feel what you feel when you are lacking confidence. And then step away from that position of self and go into the second position of other. You're somebody else just observing you. And so, as that other person, evaluate you. Are you really as bad as you think you are? Are you judging as the other person? Are you judging you? Because wouldn't that say more about the other than it does about you if you're being judged? So, as the other, you might even find that they're really rooting for you. You might find that they have empathy for you. And so you might be able to begin to get to your solution if you just step out of that self position into the other. And then there's one more position that just might really do you in good stead. And that's the superposition. You can rise up above the scene where you can see you and the other. And when you are in that superposition, you can really see that you have choices. You can really see the solutions from there, and you can orchestrate changes in your mindset, in the mindset of the self. And so in doing so, you can really get to the solution. There's one other technique that I want to share with you that's kind of similar to the three positions technique, and that is mirror of. I'm listening to Vernon, mirror of the mind. It is theater of the mind. Now, in theater of the mind, this is a really, really, really powerful technique where first You enter a theater, and on the screen of that theater is the movie playing of your lack of self confidence. And you're looking at that movie and you evaluate that movie. It's probably, dull in color, might even be black and white, might be moving a little slow. Take a look at the submodalities of that movie. Really analyze what it looks like, what it sounds like. Does it vibrate the theater and put a feeling in you of any kind? Really evaluate what that movie looks like. And then here's what I want you to do: float out of that movie and into the audience and have a seat in the audience. And now you're looking at that movie. And I want you to then evaluate everybody who is in that movie. Are you really performing as badly as you think you are? Are they really judging you in the way that you think they are? Or are you finding that they're just curious about you and they're just watching you, waiting to see what you're going to do? Again, you can get a different perspective of yourself as you're sitting in the audience. And now, here's what I want you to do: I want you to go up into the projector room. From the projector room, you've got power. You can run the movie forward. You can run the movie backwards. You've got scissors up there. You can clip portions of the movie out. You can reorder the scene and change it so that as you're in that movie, the colors are brighter, the lighting is higher, and you are standing in that movie doing your presentation with your chin up and your shoulders back and your chest out. And you've got all kinds of competence and confidence. My motto has been for more than 10 years: maximize your competence to get the confidence you need to succeed. So within that movie, you are now infusing yourself from the projector room with all of the knowledge you need, all of the wisdom you need, all of the calm that you need. You can infuse yourself with everything that you need emotionally in order to give a powerhouse presentation and land that client. And once you have now changed that movie, here's what I want you to do: I want you to float from the projector room past the audience and right into that new movie. And I want you to experience that new movie with you being powerful and you being confident and you giving a bang up presentation and landing that client. Learning. Teddy Roosevelt told us, believe you can, and you're halfway there. What do you think about these techniques for helping people gain
I
confidence
I
in the
hope
various areas
I
of their
hope
life?
everyone took notes or just listen to this again. Sean, you are a world-class neurolinguistic programming trainer. You train trainers to train participants. That's how good you
I'm a
are.
trainer's trainer.
You've
Thank
dropped
you.
some pearls that I'm glad I have access to, make notes and talk to you about, because what you shared with us was extremely effective because it is very, very powerful. And so if you're looking to create change, and growth is about change, we have to be able to change if we want to grow. If you're looking at a tree, if you're looking at a plant, no matter what you're looking at, if you want it to grow, it's going to change. You want to make some more money than you've ever made, you're going to have to change the way you see you. So what it is I feel we've done, and Sean, again, uh, I applaud your mastery of neurolinguistic programming and being able to identify what people need to do. All you need to do: sit down, discipline, discipline. Sit down, close your eyes. You can go with Silva. You can go with neurolinguistic programming. You can do one day, one another day. Bottom line is you have the discipline to do it. And if for some reason, hear me, if for some reason you don't do it, then I would question whether you believe that you deserve to change.
Oh my goodness, yes. That's a big one. Let me give you one more technique that I think will serve somebody out there in our audience tonight. Draw an imaginary circle on the floor. And inside that circle, I would love for you to put confidence, joy, love, passion, abundance, creativity, and all of the emotions that you believe and states that you believe will support you. Put them all inside that circle. Then intensify all of those positive visions. Make the colors really bright. Put a vibration in it. Make everything swirl and just marry together into a powerful energy. And then step inside that circle and envelop yourself in all that positive energy. When you do this, you will change your life. Vernon, I'm feeling like we should task our people to help them gain the confidence that they need in order to win at life, the way children and
Struggling with.
dogs just naturally win.
What are you struggling with? Whether it's
Mhm.
relationships, whether it's your self-image, whether it's your employment or your ability to generate revenue. And I would ask you to create the discipline to invest 15 to 20 minutes once a day at the minimum, preferably twice a day. Jose said once a day is good, twice a day is very good, three times a day is excellent. And what you'll find is that the more you love you, the more you will either find the time or make the time to give yourself that kind of love that's going to be successful for your growing to become more better employed, making more money, attracting the love of your life. Your call. Spend the time.
Ladies and gentlemen. Mhm. Absolutely. So if this conversation resonates with you, if this is you, drop a comment below and let us know how you have been struggling with confidence, how it has impacted your life, and how you're going to use these techniques that we shared with you today to make those changes that you know you need to make in order to live the life that you want to live.
I would tell you that you probably know some people who need to hear this. So do them a favor, give them some love, and share it with them. And then create the time for yourself to practice this, and then share with us what you've learned and how it's impacted you.
Absolutely. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Mind Mastery Accelerator, where we help you build your confidence. We look forward to seeing you again next week, where we will take up another exciting topic. We look forward to seeing you then.